Let's go back to the process of how do you get to the implementation of the activities for the local authorities. Let's start from the strategic plan, or rather, let me start from the sustainable development goals. I know these things have been used loosely, but I want us to see how the local authority fit into the sustainable development goals. I'm sure you are all aware that Zimbabwe is also a stakeholder in the United Nations, and they subscribe to the Sustainable Development Goals. So when the United Nations came up with those Sustainable Development Goals, the members like Zimbabwe had to develop their own strategies in terms of how can they fit in the Sustainable Development Goals. That's why in Zimbabwe you hear about national development strategies. The national development strategies are meant to fit in the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
After the government developed the National Development Strategy, like for instance the one that is operating right now, it's National Development Strategy 2, NDS2. It then mandated the local authorities to develop their own strategic plans that fit in the national development strategies. So the strategic plans that the local authorities are mandated, you realize they are also a 5-year strategic plan, which run the same with what the national development strategy,
yes,
which then feeds the vision 2030.
Yes.
Right. So now the strategic plan for the local authorities, what it meant is us, the residents, we are supposed to sit down and develop our plans which fit into the national development strategies. That's why you realize the local authorities are mandated to ensure that they sit with the residents. And this is coming from section 264 of our constitution. That's why I'm more focused on project 264. This is where it's coming from. Project 264 it's a product of section 264 of the constitution.
Yes.
Especially if you go to subsection, I think it should be 2, where it says the community should be given the power to decide on things that affect them. So I'm saying, if you are to look at that, that's a packed statement. It gives you a lot of power in terms of decision making. But this is where we're missing it as people. You know, by sitting at home, you are not telling the councillors what they're supposed to be doing.
Maybe, whilst you're still there, before we move forward with this conversation, maybe I might want to ask, why do you think participation remains so low when it comes to local governance, even though it's clear that there is absence of service delivery, which then affects the residents? Why do you think residents find it so difficult to then participate in these processes that will then enable them to push the local authority into providing services that they rightfully deserve as a people? And what can we do to transform our communities from just passive participants into, or passive stakeholders, so to say, who feel like council is an external institution that they don't have control over, or that they don't really need to engage with? You know, why do you feel like there's such a low participation when it comes to local governance, particularly in Wagi? Because if you are saying that only 100 people cumulatively participated in the budget process, such an important process,